Lorraine is in court to claim £400 owed for a dog she sold to her friend. Defendant Ellie says that due to her financial situation, she has to prioritise other debts and needs more time to pay Lorraine back.
Now, do I have... is it Lorraine?
Yes.
I have Lorraine here. Who are you with today, Lorraine?
Samantha, my friend.
And is it Ellie?
Yeah.
Now, Lorraine, this is a case, I have to tell you, that I take very seriously because it's about dogs. And I get some very wicked and some very silly people in my court that sell dogs, that breed dogs. You, madam, are not one of them. What dogs do you breed, madam?
Chihuahuas.
Chihuahuas. Now, you had a breeding bitch, am I right?
Yes.
And what was her name?
Bitsy.
Bitsy. And Bitsy was going to have a litter. Was it her first litter?
Yes.
You have to pay a stud fee. How much does that cost?
Depending on the quality of the stud, anything from sort of £100 to £300.
How much did you pay for Bitsy to be studded?
£250.
How much?
£250.
£250.
Yeah.
Am I right that if you own a dog, every time he has, I don't know, you know, a happy afternoon, it's £250 a go?
Yes.
Something to think about, Peter. Bitsy had babies, correct?
Yes.
And how many in the litter?
There was 5.
Now, you wanted a Chihuahua, correct?
Yes.
Now, why did you want a Chihuahua? Why this breed?
It's the type of dog I've wanted for a long, long time. Quite a few years. I like the attitude as well.
What's their attitude?
Well, they think that they're good, don't they? They've got a very confident attitude.
Understood.
They're very small, but they think they're very big, and I like that about them.
Now, you bought your first puppy with no problems from Lorraine,
Yes.
correct? Now, Lorraine, here's the thing. Being a good breeder doesn't just require you to do all the sensible, excellent things you do. You also, I presume, want to make sure that you've got a sensible purchaser, right?
Yes.
The dog is not just for Christmas.
No.
Now, when people come to my court with persuasive paperwork, especially with written contracts, they get an award. It's usually in the form of Michelle jazz hands. They're very rare. What's the doggy version? Excuse me. Now, this is for the subject of this dispute, Paris, correct?
Yes, that's Paris.
Now, I'm going to leave it up for a second. There was no problem with purchasing Nova, correct, Ellie? In fact, you arrived with Lorraine, there was an agreement. How much were you selling her for?
Nova was £750.
And tell me about Nova.
Oh, she's lovely. She's my little baby. She doesn't really like anyone except me. That's Nova. The one
Which
with the
one's
pink.
Nova?
Nova's the lighter coloured one.
Understood.
She likes to be carried. She's
a
very
princess.
spoiled. She's beautiful. She's lovely.
She handed over the £750, and that was in September in 2016.
Yes.
Now, you had one puppy left over, having sold the rest, correct?
Correct.
Again, I want to be clear, in a very thoughtful and careful fashion to other owners. Around November, just before, you were thinking about getting another puppy. Why, madam?
I'd originally, when I seen the first picture of the litter, picked out Paris, and when I'd shown the children and my other half, they'd all like Nova, and so we went with Nova. Obviously, I love Nova, but Paris was... I kept looking at her, and I just couldn't get her out of my head.
You couldn't get Paris out of your head?
No.
Yes, I know how you feel, madam.
And when I went to pick up Nova and saw Paris, I fell in love with her as well, so I couldn't actually stop thinking about her.
Understood. For more Judge Rinder cases, click here. And if you've got a legal issue yourself, get in touch with us by clicking over here.